guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about audiobooks and how I feel about them and how much I love them, and kind of open up the floor to see what you guys think about them as well. Tell me if you've ever tried them, tell me if you love them or you hate them or whatever the case may be. So I'll talk a little bit about why I started listening to audiobooks and how that has affected my life. It was actually on the suggestion of one of my best friends who had discovered Audible, and she's a stay-at-home mom, and being a stay-at-home mother is not easy. So she wasn't able to sit down and read like she used to whenever we were younger. I don't know exactly how she started using Audible, but she texted me one day and was like, hey, have you ever done this audiobook thing? I'm trying Audible. I love it. Like, it's getting me to read so many more things, listen to, read, whatever. Some people say that if you listen to books, it doesn't really count as reading, but I say fuck you. So it was on her suggestion that I decided to download it, and I had looked into it before, but I just wasn't really sure if I wanted to pull the trigger. I had listened to audiobooks before from Nook, and I had enjoyed those. One of the first ones that I ever actually listened to was Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. And I loved it. I loved his narration. It was an excellent, excellent listen, and I highly recommend it. So I just decided to pull the trigger and, start the trial and, see what there was to see. If I didn't like it, I could cancel it, whatever. Long story short, I ended up loving it. I've been listening since June of this year, I believe. And I would say 60 to 75% of what I have read this year has actually been on audio. And it has been wonderful, and let me tell you why. So I work a full-time job. This is not groundbreaking. Most people work full-time job. In between me working 40 to 50 hours a week and my husband works 12-hour swing shifts, most of the household duties do fall on me, which I'm not complaining about, like, don't get me wrong. So I hated the fact that I wasn't actually getting to sit down and read. And one of the things that I love about Audible is that I can clean my kitchen and listen to a book, or put in a load of laundry, or fold a load of laundry, or reorganize my bathroom or my linen closet, or whatever the hell it is that I need to do at that time. I can multitask, because most of the things that you're doing when it comes to cleaning, let's be real, you don't need half a brain to do them. So you're still able to focus on the words, in the book. So I love it in the fact that it allows me to multitask. So the second reason that I love Audible is that it has actually caused me to kind of break up with Netflix. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, how could you do that? How could you break up with Netflix? And the answer is very simple. Because when I was still watching Netflix a lot, I would come home from work and I would sit down and I would binge watch a couple episodes and I would go to bed. I wouldn't do anything. Nothing. I would just watch Netflix. And that's not to say that sometimes I still don't do that, because I do. But it's definitely gotten a lot less frequent. And there was a time period where, like, I would come home and veg out and watch Netflix. And then on my days off, I would veg out and watch Netflix. And I wouldn't get any of the things done that I needed to do, whether it was laundry, whether it was cleaning, whether it was errands. It was just like, I want to lay on my couch and watch Netflix all day. Listening to books, because I don't want to just sit there and listen and not do anything. Like, maybe some people can do that, but I can't. Like, there kind of maybe it's because whenever I actually started listening to audiobooks, I was always doing something else at the time as well. But I have to be doing something whenever I'm listening, which is great for me because, again, it allows me to multitask. I know this is going to sound weird. It's made me less dependent on certain technology. I'm not checking my phone all the time whenever I'm listening to a book, or, I'm not staring at a screen whenever I'm listening to a book. And that is one of the things that I love the most about that, and why I was so happy to actually have, discovered this. And another reason that I absolutely love audiobooks, and I love that I have discovered Audible, is that I get a lot more read. Not just because I can multitask, but I can listen to one book and then actually physically read another. And this is something that I've actually been doing this month. This is the first month that I have started doing that. I have kind of been choosing some of the books that I've been listening to that have a heavier subject matter. One such book was actually The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. If you've ever read that book, it is so heavy. It is so emotionally heavy. It's beautifully written, but it is very heavy. And there were times where I actually had to stop listening to it because it was just so heavy and I needed to take a second and really process. So on one side, I'm listening to this book that is so heavy subject matter, it's really intense, really emotional, but then at night I can go sit down on the couch or go upstairs to our bedroom and actually physically read, what was I reading? I was reading Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which is something a lot more lighthearted. And so it kind of allows me to be able to go back and forth between two different genres, two different books, really kind of giving me the ability to be able to kind of like wind down at the end of the night. But I've always struggled with reading two physical books at once. I don't know why that is, but it's something that I have always struggled with. And for some reason, listening to one and actually physically reading one has been a lot easier for me. So the fact that I can actually absorb two books at one time is wonderful. And because of that, just this month alone, this is November, but I've already finished 3 books and I am currently reading 2 more. So that is another reason that I absolutely love audiobooks and actually listening to them. So that's why I love audiobooks and what I think about them. I would love to hear what your opinions are. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. If there are any spectacular audiobooks that you've listened to lately that you think that I should listen to, leave those recommendations. Or are there any other platforms that you use for audiobooks? I mentioned Audible several times. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, but I have listened to books on Audible and through Nook. Those are 2 of the platforms that I'm aware of. I'm sure I could do some research and, find some more, but if you guys have any that you would like to leave in the comments, please do so. I look forward to some discussion from you guys, but that is all I have for today. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.